forgot to start recording. So when we're doing this transformation, point D is another point on that triangle that's following the same transformation, okay? So go ahead in the chat and put what would be, you're really looking for that rule, that coordinate notation. So put in the
D?
chat.
Oh.
Sorry. Put it in the chat, because otherwise, you know, you get that mentality when one person says one thing and then you're like, oh, that looks right. That looks about right. But yes, everyone seems to be getting the correct answer. Except Maya. Maya, what happened? Double check the question. So what is the rule that follows? Now just remember that the point itself doesn't matter. That's why it took me a second, because on the question it's asking about a point that's on the triangle, but it's not one of my key points. Yes, you are right as well, Kaya, even though you wrote it out. Next time you can just put the letter. It makes it a little easier, but thank you for writing it. It's good practice. So the correct answer is D. Remember, 5 units to the left is really 5 units to the left of 0, the way we want to think about it, which is to my negatives. And 5 units up is a plus. Okay? Any questions on this one? So just remember that it doesn't matter which point they're saying. If they say the point is on the triangle, it's following the same rules, right? Did I tell you guys when you do a graph, you should have at least 3 points when you graph it? You have to graph it on your own. You want at least 3 points. The more points, the better, right? There's always an infinite number of points on a line because you can go by decimals and the fractions and all that stuff. The best thing to do is think of it like that. You're just adding points to the triangle to make it more accurate. Okay, so, but it doesn't matter. It's still going to follow the same rules, the same transformations. Okay. Number 9. Yet another graph. Again, it has a lot of graphs, a lot of pictures. So I have here. This is A, B, C, D. Okay. Rectangle. Oh, it's not really. It doesn't look like much like a rectangle. It's supposed to be a rectangle. Rectangle A, B, C, D is graphed on a coordinate plane with some vertices. Oh, I do have to give you the vertices. Hang on then. I need to do that rectangle better. All right, we're gonna have to round. So let's do what? -1, -2, 1. So this point, which is my point C, I'm gonna write it actually over here. C is -2, 1. I'm only writing it over here because it's really cramped, my little rectangle, okay? But you can, on your test, or rather on your study guide, not on your test, because it's computer-based. So you would write it on a separate sheet. You can just write it just like I'm doing here with the A, B, C, D, and then the points right next to it. So point D is gonna be 2, 3, 4, 5. So -5, 1. A is -5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And B is -2, 5. Okay, so has those coordinates. Rectangle ABCD is reflected over the x-axis. So I'm gonna already start drawing in my points, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. And then translated 4 units to the right. So reflect, x-axis, 4 units right. So now 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm gonna actually change the color. 1, 2, 3, 4. So this is actually my final transformation. Doesn't look very good when I did it that way, but we get the point. Okay, what are the coordinates for C? What are the coordinates for C? So put it in the chat. I'm not going to give multiple choice this time. You should be able to figure it out. Remember which one is C, which one is D after the reflection. And then the slide doesn't change its orientation. So as long as you figure out which is the point.
How is the square slide 4 units right if it's only 1 unit apart?
What?
Like the shape is only 1 unit apart.
I don't understand.
What
do you mean?
6th grade, when there's 4 units left.
I mean, you also have an echo. So I'm not sure.
Huh? What? Why do we do that? Emma, how do I get any echo? Why?
It's because yours is like a hard now.
Yeah, so why'd you?
It's on. I wanted to ask. The square. Goes it goes 4 units left. From which point? It doesn't matter which point.
Okay.
All right. So the first thing is we want to label our points, right? So if I am reflecting over the X, remember mirror, my A and B are now going to be down here, and my D and C okay. So when I do the reflection, I slide all 4 points. The whole shape moves 4. Okay. So if the whole shape moves 4, everything gets pushed over. Okay. But it still stays the whole. This is really the whole rectangle after the rotation. And this is my final image. Okay. Does that clear up the question, Emma? So you have to slide all 4 points, all 4 of your main points, basically. So then C is now, so this is A, B, D, C. C is 2, comma, -1. So I noticed a lot saying -5. The key is that you want to, and that's why I didn't mark the letters after the reflection. Okay, you got to make sure that you take notice that once you reflect it, the side, the points that are closest to each other are the same points. Okay. Does that make sense? Do we understand this one? Because it's a, you know, all of these are questions like similar to the ones on your test. So they are going to be asking you, if this is done, what happens? Now remember that because it is computer-based, you can't really, what I would recommend, especially with these ones with all the drawing and doing the transformations, you can't obviously draw on the computer screen. So what you can do, and I don't know if they give like a drawing tool, we'll find out when you guys take the test. I feel like they have it, but it might be just for specific problems. So if that's the case, you know, you guys are able to use scrap paper, okay? So on your scrap paper, just like I did, you draw a little triangle, a rectangle, triangle, whatever it is, and map it yourself. The points, you know, they may not be exact, but I mean, I think I did a pretty good job, right? Your graph isn't going to look the prettiest, it's not going to look the best, but it's, the point of it is that you know what you're doing and that it helps you out, okay? So draw ugly graphs if you have to, like all of my graphs, it helps, okay? So number 10, we're almost done. So number 10, once again, is another graph. And it's going to be over here. We're going to say that this is point, I don't know, A. So look at point A on the coordinate plane. There it is. It's at this point, which is what? 1, 2, 0, 2. Not 0, 20, 0, 2. Okay. How can I do this without having to draw 4 different graphs? Oh, I know. So if point A is rotated 90 degrees counterclockwise, what is the new point? So I'm asking for the new coordinate, okay? So if this is 0, 2, remember that clockwise means it goes in this direction. Where is that new point going to end up? So this is where that chart that we had to use a lot when we did our transformation packet, that's where that comes in handy, okay? So Maya and Martina are correct. Gabby, we're almost right. There we go.
Yeah.
So this one is a multiple choice and they actually like give you graphs, but I was not really into having to draw 4 different coordinate planes. It would have taken a really long time and would have looked horrible. So you guys are getting it right though. Sienna and Curtis, you guys also got it right. Mara, check. Be careful. Remember that it is 90 degrees counterclockwise. Shamari, what are you doing? Did you put a guess? I didn't see your guess.
I said I didn't.
You did it?
Yeah,
You didn't put your answer in the
Mhm.
chat.
Hello.
I did.
Can I
didn't
not
see
put it in chat and say it out loud?
No. No, and I'm going to tell you a story why you shouldn't do that. Shamari, I don't see your answer here.
Do you see it now?
Yes, I do, Sludgy. Yours is good.
Is it right?
Yes, it is right. Emma, you're right as well. Kaya, you're right as well. Mara, that is the correct answer now. Perfect, perfect. Okay, so if I am moving, all right. Shamari, what is the correct answer? Just have him say it.
You should leave it as a dark.
She can hear you.
-2,0.
-2,
How
0.
about check?
My thing is messed up.
Oh my gosh. I think you need to update it or something.
Is that an iPad Pro?
Again, when you rotate it 90 degrees, remember that your X and Y, the rule is your X comma Y becomes -Y comma X. This delay with my writing, but there it is. Becomes -Y comma X. So if my point was 0, 2, it would now become 2, 0, and my 2 is now negative. So there we go. So you can see that visually, especially when you have the graphs in front of you, you can kind of see it. But if you didn't, that's the way you'd want to try and remember. You want to kind of remember these kinds of rules that help you out, okay? Next one, number 11. Oh, I know you guys probably didn't expect it, but there's another graph. And this one is very difficult. So let me see if I can do this properly. Okay. All right, so far so good. Yeah, that's good enough. So we see that it is 2 triangles, yes? So I have A, B, C, and this is going to be D, E. All right, which transformation shows that triangle ABC is familiar or is similar to triangle DBE? If I'm correct, that's the similar symbol, but it's like kind of, it's not equal. Yes, Gabby, you are correct. So what is the transformation?
What do you mean transformation?
What's the transformation? Rotation, reflection, dilation, translation. That one, those.
But you were going to say, why can I not speak and write it in chat?
No, you should put it in the chat.
Yeah, you said, I'm going to tell you why you should put it in chat.
What?
I asked you, can I speak, like tell you the answer by not putting it in chat? You said no,
put it
I'm
in.
gonna tell you why. But you didn't
Oh
tell
yeah,
me.
later. Now we're almost done
Oh.
with the study guide, after the study guide.
Did I get it right?
Yes. So Curtis, you were right. kind of. And I like the inclusion of the scale factor. But when we go over the answer, I'm going to show you that it doesn't really matter. So at this point in time, it doesn't really affect us on this test, okay? So, but I do like that you put, because it would be by a factor, a scale factor of some number. So.
The teacher just left. Wait, am I still unmuted? Oh.
So make sure you put if it's translation, dilation, rotation, or reflection. But I'm going to kind of do it now because we have one question left and we have 3 minutes. So we are correct. It is a dilation. It changes its size. Now, when it comes to this, first off, your options were 2 dilations and 2 translations, okay? Obviously, it's not a translation. It's a much smaller triangle. And if it was a translation, they wouldn't be similar. They would be congruent, right? They would be the same size. Translation is a rigid motion. It doesn't change its size, so it would stay as a congruent triangles. So that's number 1. Then they give the same scale factor. That's why it doesn't really matter. It's by a scale factor of 2, but it doesn't matter because both of the options say by a scale factor of 2. The one thing that is important is that when you do a dilation, just like we had the rotation and you had the rotation about the origin, but then you could also do a rotation around a different point itself, a dilation can occur around a specific point, okay? In this case, which point would that be? Does anyone want to take a guess?
Point
You
B.
can put it in the chat, you can, yes. It would be centered around B. Why? Because the triangle shrinks in that direction, okay? Why is this? You guys just look.
What?
I think I'm having bad
I
internet.
think
now.
she can't hear you, Emma.
Okay, wait. I'm gonna stop sharing. I'm gonna reshare it. See if this works. Can you guys still hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Because I think my internet went a little wonky there. And my Zoom is now really delayed. Okay, hang on. I have to rejoin so I can get
Willy Wonka?
my Blackboard back.
Wait,
What?
did she say Willy Wonka? Okay. Oh, wait, I'm unmuted.
Oh my goodness. All right. What happened? So let's hope it fixes itself. Are you guys seeing my screen or not? Because I'm not seeing it. Yeah. I think Zoom is tired of me. Oh, there we go. There it is. So the arrow, see how it points in? The graph shrinks in towards B. That's your key point. If it were to the origin, it would be moving towards the middle, but it's not. It's going towards point B, okay? So stop my recording.